What's going on, guys? This is Dr. Vic. Excited to have you here, be here with me right now. This is all about how to leverage your mind to create your dream life, and how that your mind can actually be the thing that either creates that and helps you have that, or it is the one thing that destroys it and becomes the biggest energy block to not allow you to get to that. This is one thing that a lot of times we miss the boat on. A lot of times where Lao Tzu once said, to master others is strength, but to master yourself is really true power. And there's so much wonderful wisdom in just that quote, because it talks about where's the true power. That's why I always ask, like, well, if I master myself, where does the true power come from? And it's right here. You see, because we are such huge inner critics to ourselves. I mean, really think about it for one moment. Just take a moment here, and I want you to really, really think about this for 1 second. Would you date yourself based on how you treat yourself? Like, if somebody treated you like the way you treat yourself, would you date them? We're so critical about who our external objectives of what we achieve, what we don't, our failures, and we make them become something more than what they just are, right? Yeah, let's say something in the year fails, and yet we'll go there and say, well, we're failed, it didn't work. We'll create a whole story, fill in the gaps of the brain and all these other things to give it that. And we put all this power behind it. But at the end of the day, it just is what it is, right? And we can still change the course. We can still turn and do other things. But a lot of times, sometimes people just get fixed in a certain way. And the mind is one of those things that either allow us to be fixed or allow us to grow. And that's why the mindset, focusing on your mind, understanding how it works, understanding beliefs, understanding your habits, your neural patterning, all these different things allow you to give your power back to you instead of giving it out to there, right? Because if I say, hey, would you like $1 million? Oh my God, I would love to have $1 million. And your whole energy is going to shift. And you start looking at that instead of, then I ask the question, well, you want the $1 million. Do you want to do the work to get to that $1 million? And conversation starts to change a little bit. And it's one of those things where, you can, with the mind, when you have it in alignment to what it is you desire, what you want to experience, then things happen easier. I'm not going to say it's easy. And the reason why is because your mind can either help you in the process by aligning to what you want, or it can be off course and become a block and not allow you to achieve what you desire. So if you're in business, it may be in business or just in life in general, these work on all aspects of life. When you're looking at life in general, if it's in business, it's the same kind of concept. If you're not achieving the levels you want, then there's a block there, and you got to look at where that is. And it's always, in my experience, has always been the mind. When you're looking at relationships and you're stuck at a certain place, you can't break through, it's one of those things where it's stuck in the mind. You got to look at where that's at. It could be a belief in the relationships. It could be a habits of things that you do just based on what you learn from other people. There's all this conditioning, and I'm just finished up my book called Decoding the Matrix. And I talk a lot about this conditioning and how we get habitually put into these patterns without even knowing it subconsciously. It's stored in our subconscious mind. And so you live a life 95% of the time just living old habits, old patterns, old conditioning from 0 to 7. Think about that. That's a whole nother discussion. But you can see, if you're programmed from 0 to 7 and you lead your life 95% of the time in the subconscious mind, that's how we dictate our lives, then 95% of your life is dictated by how you viewed the world from 0 to 7. This is why if you've been following me for a while, follow my podcast or listen to me talk a lot, I will talk about this concept and say adults are just bigger children. That's really just what we are. And what I mean by that is just that right there, is that we are programmed and conditioned in certain ways. And if we don't go here to find out where they are in that subconscious and learn how to reprogram it and shift it, give it new beliefs, restory things, reframe your brain, reframe the brain differently, look at things from a different perspective, create new beliefs again. It's one of those things that you're going to have limitations within your life in some way, shape, or form. I'm not saying you can't achieve it. It's just going to be way harder. It becomes more of a struggle. Right. And this is where a lot of people get really fired up in the entrepreneurial world when I say this, that, the grind and hustle doesn't have to happen. You don't have to grind and hustle. You don't have to have sweat equity into things. And it's amazing how much kickback I get when I say that. And it's just because they believe in a model. And that's okay if you do. I'm not saying what you believe in is wrong. It's just, here's the outcome of what you're going down. Here's another outcome of what you can do. And then you just choose which one you like. I mean, that's it. And people are going to always make choices, and they're always going to behave based on your beliefs. That's why if you want to make a shift in your life with anything, you got to go there. And where does your belief reside? Everything always starts and ends in the mind. And so that's why I love, love, love Lao Tzu's quotes. I've used it in so many of my books. I think every single book I've written so far, I've used that quote. And the reason why, it's just that powerful. It's so simple, and you can break that down in so many elements. You can master others. Mastering others is strength, right? Knowing how someone is, knowing what they tick, knowing how to control, know how to limit those things, or how to get people to, buy more of your product and, do those kind of things. That's great. You can do that. But mastering yourself is true power, because now all of a sudden you come in with your element. These are the greats of the greats who've mastered themselves. And these are, I don't have any names off the top of my head. I can think of big names, but I just don't know them personally. So I don't know what they have. But it's one of those things where it's just mastering, you master yourself. You step into your true power, and you know where your strengths are, your weaknesses are, and you know how to create the life that you desire and be full on every aspect. You see, there's a different perspective with that. There's being more whole, right? It's not just being great in business. It's not just making a shitload of money, excuse my French, but it's about having just as good as much you make in business, how much more you make in money, is how great you do in your relationship. It's how great you show up with your kids, how great you show up with your spouse. It's how great you show up with family and friends and so forth, how deep those relationships are. It's about how healthy are you? How well do you take care of your health? How well do you focus on your health? Because let's face it, without health, what liberty do you have? Then you look at your mindset. How do you sharpen this thing? How are you challenging it? How are you helping it grow? You see, there's a fabric to all this. And when you focus on yourself and really true growth, when you master yourself, you master every fabric of your life. It's not just in one direction. That's strength. That's trying to say, well, look what I've done to make all this money, or look what I've done here or there, and everything else isn't. It's true power comes from within, and it affects every fabric of your life. And it all starts here. How you think, the emotions you attach to things, where your focus goes, right? Wherever your mind goes, energy goes. And wherever energy goes, that's your experience of life, or wherever manifestation grows. But it's one of those things where if you don't go here and start challenging this, trying to find out what it is, because another thing I always tell people is you never know the truth of somebody unless they're stressed, unless you challenge them. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in a way where you things, it's easy to be great and on top of the world when everything's going smooth for yourself. Yeah, you can be the happiest person, smiling and everything. Let me see how you are when you're stressed and pressed. Let me see how you are when you're challenged, when life throws that challenge at you. That part is really more, it's not that you're a bad person. Trust me, there are some challenges I don't come out my best version. There are some challenges I come out thriving. But here's the key. The difference is this, is that it's just showing up. If you're not showing up the way you want to, there's just things you have to conquer. There's things that you have to work on. There's things that are in the mind that you haven't, you're going back to old patterning from 0 to 7 that you haven't worked through. So there's some big stuff that you could work on that to really transform that. And if this sounds and resonates like, holy cow, I love what you're saying here, I love what you're up to, go ahead and DM me, comment below, just put vision. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll connect you with some work that you can help with visualization and the power of visualization. It's a free ebook. And what it'll do is it'll help you to really shift your mindset, free look at things, and then learn how to use the power of visualization to transform your life. And in this short little ebook, I share things about how you can literally physically change matter just by using your mind, and how to step into your power more. Because when we can understand how this works, we can really start to be the creators of our life and really produce what we desire. So that's what I got for you guys today. As always, I greatly appreciate you tuning in. Until next time, keep rocking and rolling.